Four fighters tonight are ranked in the top 10 in somebody's rankings. The way I deal with all of this, Jim, is to look at the little picture. I'm just hoping we get a good fight.
Well, and a lot of people would say that in the first of the two fights, we'll be lucky to get a good one because it features the man regarded by many now as the most unwatchable of all successful heavyweights, unbeaten young prospect Chris Byrd. Now, it's interesting as we turn to world light heavyweight champion Roy Jones, who has spoken frequently in the past about the possibility of moving up to fight as a heavyweight, that we're about to watch Chris Byrd, who won a silver medal at the 1992 Olympics fighting at 165 pounds, to the surprise of almost everybody, moved up and became a heavyweight as a professional, and he's unbeaten mostly by avoiding punches. Do you take any special interest in watching Chris tonight, Roy?
Well, I take a little bit of special interest in him because he moved up from 165 pounds, which is something I would like to do, but I don't have the body frame, the height that he had to do it and be quite as successful at doing it over a period of time. However, I think the only thing that he's missing is a home run hit. He doesn't throw that home run punch that makes people want to see him over and over and over again. He outboxes a lot of guys, but he needs to work on building up that punch.
Chris Byrd going against a home run puncher tonight who also strikes out a great deal. And we'll take a look at Byrd, whose professional record shows 22 wins, no losses, not a lot of power, as you'll see, 12 KOs, 92 Olympic silver medalist at 165 pounds. The opponent across the ring is the other New Zealand heavyweight besides the well-known David Tua. Jimmy Thunder, like Tua, has his roots in Samoa, grew up in Auckland, New Zealand. He says that a fight between him and Tua would fill an outdoor stadium in Auckland or Christchurch. He's won 32, lost 8, 26 by KOs. When he doesn't get a KO, he struggles because by no means is he the kind of boxer that Chris Byrd is. Both fighters in the ring already. And we bring you the tale of the tape between Chris Byrd and Jimmy Thunder, and you'll see that Byrd has grown to weigh 215 pounds. He says, I'm like Muhammad Ali. He doesn't swat like Ali, at least not yet. 4-year age advantage for Byrd, 2-inch reach advantage for Thunder, who weighed in at 230 and must produce Thunder to win the fight. Rules of the bout with our ringside judge, Harold Letterman.
The Chris Byrd Jimmy Thunder fight is scheduled for 10 rounds. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 10th and final round. Jim.
All right, Harold, let's go to ring announcer Ed Darian. Darian for the pre-fight introductions.
Live from Foxwoods Resort Casino here in Mashantucket, Connecticut for its HBO's Boxing After Dark is being promoted by Main Events Fight Night in association with Foxwoods Resort Casino and Budweiser, the king of beers, is sanctioned by the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation Gaming and Athletic Commission. Its chairman, Robert Hayward, vice chairman, Roy Butler, commissioner is Bill Hickey, and the executive director is John Meskill. Our chief physician in attendance ringside this evening is Dr. Michael Schwartz, along with his 2 fine associates, Dr. Joseph Carpentieri and Dr. Anthony Alessi. Our judges for this scheduled 10-round heavyweight bout, Glenn Feldman, William Hutt, and Clark Sammartino. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of this scheduled 10-round heavyweight bout, Double S, referee Steve Smoger. And now, my good friends, introducing the principals. First in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the black trim. He weighed in at an even 230 pounds. Now, this veteran pugilist has 32 wins, 8 losses with 26 knockouts. All the way from Auckland, New Zealand, and now making his home in Las Vegas, Nevada. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jimmy Thunder from down under. Thunder. And his opponent in the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with the white trim. He weighed in at an even 215 pounds. Now, this fella is undefeated in 22 pro bouts with 12 knockouts. He is currently ranked number 8 by the IBF from Flint, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Chris Byrd. Byrd.
All right, Jimmy and Chris, you were giving your instructions in the dressing room. I want you to obey my commands at all times, protect yourself at all times, and respect the bell. Touch gloves. God bless.
One of the things about Byrd, Jim, is you can't insult him by calling him boring, because to him boring means he's won the fight.
Ready, Chris?
Let's see if he can modify his profile as he has promised in this fight.
Jimmy Thunder likes to start very fast. He knocked out Crawford Grimsley in 13 seconds with one overhand right. But Byrd is not easily found, and Thunder doesn't find him with his first long walk across the ring. Body shots by Thunder, the first landed punches of the bout.
These are the type of fighters that Byrd wants to fight.
Chris Byrd knocks Jimmy Thunder down with a left. And just when we told you he was boring, he makes it exciting.
These are the kind of guys he wants to fight. These big punches. They're tailor-made for him. He's an excellent boxer, and this is where he gets to use his speed and his skill to outsmart him.
Now, it's interesting. You see Thunder going almost exclusively to the body early. Thunder's trainer, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, said, hey, Byrd moves a lot, but he moves his head all the time, doesn't move his body that much. Guys make the mistake of trying to go up top against him. They should throw nothing but body punches. Thunder's landing some early on.
One thing he also found out, Thunder, is that you can't just run into a guy, no matter whether he's supposed to be a puncher or not. When the gloves are this small, everybody can punch to a degree.
He was just squared up to him, and he was off balance, and he just got knocked down. Obviously, the punch didn't hurt him at all.
Thunder's body shots could make a difference in this bout if he continues to land them at this rate. Because how's he going to keep throwing them at this rate?
A good question. He seems to be tired a little bit already.
Should be. With that kind of punch output, he was throwing punches at 100 punch per round rate, almost all of them body shots. Chris Byrd, having weathered the early storm and scored an early knockout against Jimmy Thunder, looks to get his own jab going. Thunder drives him back into the ropes with body shots.
Early knockdown.
Early knockdown, yes.
And Larry, I think that Chris Byrd is truly hurting Thunder with these head shots. And he's also taking some good shots from Thunder.
This is an interesting round because both fighters have made so much contact, and that's not what we expected would be the case.
Thunder keeps walking in like this, he's going to get knocked out because Chris is much too skilled for him to just walk in defenseless.
So you have a lot of respect for Chris's boxing skill.
Yes, his whole family's been in boxing since he was a little kid. You can't help but to respect a family like this. His father's well-schooled, and I mean, you can't help but to know that this is what this kid did his entire life.
He grew up sparring with his brothers in an 8-foot by 8-foot enclosed room in the basement of his house, and says that his great defensive skills came from fighting in that tiny ring.
So that should tell you right there.
Count, Jimmy Thunder threw 85 punches in round one, 83 of them power shots. He only threw a couple of jabs, and of course landed 34 punches, almost all of them to the body. You heard Eddie Mustafa Muhammad telling Jimmy Thunder between rounds, forget about his head, just keep hitting his body with both hands.
He calls them torpedoes. His dad was a Navy man, so that's where his terminology comes from.
Chris Byrd lands a straight left hand.
Watch your heads going in, fellas.
One thing Byrd does very spectacular to me is he gets his hands far out in front of him so he can deal with the punches long before they reach a danger zone on him. Most fighters don't do this, but this is a very good tactic.
Good three-punch combination by Chris Byrd there. Thunder, who threw 85 punches in round one, won't throw 40 in this round at this pace.
Is that one of the reasons, Roy, that he doesn't have power in his punches, that his arms are extended like that?
No, that's not a reason that he doesn't have power. He doesn't have power because he doesn't choose to be a power puncher, and he doesn't sit down on the punches. But this makes people like Thunder not want to punch when they're sitting outside because he doesn't see an opening. All he sees is two gloves in front of his gloves, so he thinks there are no openings there, and he won't be so quick to throw punches, especially big punches.
Byrd again able to land 1-2s. Right jab, left cross, straight down the pipe. Thunder, as you can see, does not defend himself very well. Got no head movement to speak of. And whenever Thunder stops his head moving, Byrd fires the jab and the left cross.
I tell you what, and Byrd is hurting Thunder with those left body shots. Every time he hits him, we hear him grunt way over here.
It's a whole different Jimmy Thunder in round 2, and therefore Byrd is able to fight an entirely different fight, and he's landing accurately and precisely throughout the round.
Jimmy Thunder seems to have thrown everything he had early. He doesn't seem to have a whole lot of power left.
Thunder lands a shot to the body. Byrd lands one up top. If you've been watching the sport long, you know what the judges prefer. It's very hard to win fights with body punches if you're not able to break your opponent down and get him to the head eventually.
They're mainly a good investment for the later rounds. Take power out of the guy, make him tired from beating his body early, and it usually helps you in the late rounds.
Little smile for Byrd at the end of the round, who seems to believe that he can fire that left hand and land it when he wants to. Tim Witherspoon warming up in his dressing room. We're told that Witherspoon's handlers left his boxing shoes in his hotel room, and somebody has been sent off now to gather the shoes. The hope would be that we don't get a quick knockout in this fight, which might bring Witherspoon to the ring barefoot.
But I taught you in the gym. This guy, every time you hit him in the body, you hurt him. You're not doing anything. Step to the man, step to your left, and you step to him and keep the jab going and work to the body. Stop backing up on the man. You're going to lose yourself in there. Stop backing up. Keep touching him with the jab and work to the man's body. Let both hands go. Stop waiting for him. All right?
Yeah, don't take no chances. Okay.
Chris Byrd with his father, Joe Byrd, the only trainer he's ever had, and he says, the only trainer I'll ever have is my dad. Jimmy Thunder, working with Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, is the 7th trainer of his career. Thunder, 85 punches thrown in the first round, 36 in the second. Now he comes out and begins the second round, or the third round, as though he wants to go back to the tempo he established in round 1.
Why is Byrd like to lay in the corners?
Because he can protect himself from the big punches. When a guy has you cornered, he usually want to tee off and throw big punches at you. If you're comfortable and if you have a good defense, you don't have to worry about it because you're going to see everything coming. You just make them wear themselves out trying to hit you, and they're not going to land much. The ropes keep you from falling, so you're not going to fall back and lose balance. You can support the punches, you can block, and the ropes serve as support when you're defending against a big guy.
Byrd parrying Thunder's weak jab and then countering twice to his face. The tables are turned as Thunder backs around into the corner, and Byrd lands a couple of body shots.
And then the big punches, they don't like to be in the corner because they feel intimidated, because they think this is where they want a guy at. So they figure if it's reversed, then they're in a bad situation.
All right, well, one thing we're certainly seeing early is that Byrd has great ring intelligence and uses it at all times.
Yes, he does.
Witherspoon's shoes have arrived in his dressing room, we're told.
He might need them tonight to catch up with Larry Donald.
That's right. Might want track shoes. Byrd, laser-like accuracy with the left hand. Lands another right and left on the face of Jimmy Thunder. Thunder seemingly startled by Byrd's punching quickness and accuracy.
Thunder looks like an Easter Island statue, and he fights like one sometimes.
His eyes are starting to swell a little.
Yep, he's getting tattooed. So even though Byrd doesn't pack much of a wallop, he shows you that accurate, sharp punching means something regardless of whether you have great power.
It means a lot. And with a guy like Jimmy Thunder, you can have 7 or 8 trainers, but if you're used to going out there knocking a guy out, and once this guy sticks around and passes that point, you feel intimidated and you feel as though your fight is over.
Did you see Byrd feint Thunder with his head and then fire a punch almost like a look-away pass in basketball?
Yes, he did.
That was slick.
Very slick. A no-look punch.
Count in round 3, Byrd landed 61% of his punches, 37 out of 61. Thunder, 17 of 64, not making nearly the same impact. So round 4 begins, and Thunder tries to follow Eddie Mustafa Muhammad's instructions to go to the body. Harold Letterman, how'd you score through the first 3?
Jim, 3 rounds to nothing, 30-26, Chris Byrd. Jim, I think he's a pretty fighter, really. He's got all the moves. One thing I have to disagree with you, Jim, he could punch to the body all night. He doesn't have to throw a head punch, and he'd win every round on my card. I mean, really, you don't have to punch to the head because he does everything you have to do to win a fight. That double jab is beautiful. He spins out of the corner beautifully, and he's just tattooing Jimmy Thunder.
But, Harold, you do pay attention to body punches, and you know doggone good and well there are a lot of judges who don't.
Well, hopefully we have experienced judges in major fights. I mean, you know, we had a long discussion about that after the Foreman thing. I think that the judges working tonight are experienced enough to recognize good body shots.
I hope so. Byrd with another 1-2, landed the left behind Thunder's ear. As if all of Byrd's other attributes weren't enough to twist you in more different directions than you'd like to be twisted in. He's a southpaw to boot. It's almost unfair.
Well, he's starting to really get to Jimmy a little bit now because Jimmy is slowing and Byrd is still just as quick as he was. And actually, he's going to speed up a little bit. And it has to be disencouraging to Jimmy because he can't hit him. He's trying everything. He just can't seem to land a solid punch on Byrd.
Getting more action than they might have bargained for in this opening boxing match of the boxing doubleheader on After Dark tonight. Heavyweight Chris Byrd doing a paint job on Jimmy Thunder.
That was the first time he did exactly what his father told him, which was to add to his combinations. Don't be satisfied with hitting him one time.
Chris Byrd from the Boxing Birds of Flint, Michigan, has 4 brothers and 3 sisters, all or are boxing now or have boxed in the past. His father, Joe Byrd, was a boxer. Patrick Byrd, still active as a middleweight, or checking a junior middleweight, 12 wins, 2 losses. And there's a look at Patrick scoring a knockout victory. Sister Tracy Byrd is 8-0 as a lightweight. And Chris says that Tracy is the hardest hitting of the Byrd boxers.
You ain't throw the hook yet. That's what you're waiting on. It ain't got to be a hard hook. It's got to be a series of hooks that open up that left hand to get in there. Okay? He watching for the left hand, but you got to, and don't let him push you on the ropes and butt you or cut you. Okay? Keep yourself together. Let's go. Let's go, Pope.
Round 4, a CompuBox wipeout for Byrd, who landed 32 of 54 punches, 59% against 6 of 53 for Thunder. And Byrd is now catching many of Thunder's punches with his gloves. So Thunder tries to load up on power and just go right through the gloves, and he lands to Byrd's neck with a hard right-hand shot.
That's the best thing he can do, because he's not going to land nothing flush on Byrd right now. He may as well just be comfortable with hitting his gloves and landing the body shots.
Well, he should hit his arms.
Off his neck, Jimmy. That's good.
You think you could fight Byrd, Roy?
Do I think I could fight Byrd? I probably could.
Would you?
You know, I'll fight anybody.
Chris, finish the sentence. If they pay you enough.
Now you're talking. You already know the rest. I didn't even have to see it.
Well, if he were to go on and win a heavyweight title, and it's certainly not out of the question, this is certainly a heavyweight that doesn't outsize you in a dramatic way.
Nope.
Byrd straight up the pipe with the left hand again. Thunder came out fast to start this 5th round. Now he's gone back to a more normal activity level, and Byrd begins to carefully pick those laser shots. Like
good
that.
Shot. Good body shot.
You see, then he backs up. It's great to be able to make your opponent miss if you're a good boxer. But why would you just throw a quick little combination and get out of there?
Because you don't want to leave yourself open. When you throw it, if you stay there and keep throwing the same punches, Jimmy Thunder punches too hard to just let him tee off on you between your punches. The best time to knock a guy out is to catch him between punches and hit him. And Byrd knows that.
Byrd's chopping left hand over the top appeared to hurt Thunder momentarily, so he followed Thunder as Thunder backed up, but then Thunder got some time to catch his breath.
Now right there, you should have countered. Right. He made Thunder miss bad. That's the time to really counter. But if you hit him with 3 or 4 punches, like right there, now it's time to back off. Don't keep going, because you're running to something big. And he doesn't want to run to the bigger punches because he's giving up the size already.
I'm just amazed at Byrd's punching accuracy out of this style. I mean, this is a guy who really knows the geometry of the sport. He can find a way to put the leather on you. Boom.
So these big punches are tailor-made for Byrd. He's a boxer, he's a quick boxer, he's a smart boxer, he doesn't have the big punch, so he doesn't get caught up in trying to knock him out.
So who among the big-name heavyweights would give him trouble?
Well, the only guy who would give him really trouble is Lennox Lewis.
Don't worry about it. Because of Lewis's overwhelming power.
And his size. Lewis has a lot of size, and Lewis is a pretty good boxer himself.
We saw the graphic with Byrd's punching accuracy numbers through the first 6 rounds. First 5 rounds, I should say. Above 50%. Awfully hard to beat that. Now, when last we left, Roy, you were saying that the one prominent heavyweight who would get in trouble is Lewis because of his power and size. Are you telling me that Byrd would not be bothered by Evander Holyfield's style?
Not really, because Evander sits in front of him, and Evander is not a rangy fighter. It'll be a good fight because Evander has so much heart. But Byrd is usually going to outbox the guys that sit there and stand flat-footed. Evander's not really a big rangy fighter, so he'd have a harder time with Byrd. And it's not 100% sure that anybody's going to beat anybody. But Byrd will have a much easier time with the person his height or shorter like an Evander Holyfield than he would with somebody tall like Lennox.
Lennox is 6 feet 5 inches tall. That's just one of the things that differentiates Lewis from most of the other top heavyweights.
Push off.
Now that Bo is gone and Galata has been discredited, Lewis pretty much stands alone among the big heavyweights. Chris Byrd landing more or less at will against Jimmy Thunder, and you saw the cut above Thunder's left eye.
Not enough thunder or lightning in Thunder. He's had some opportunities, but he hasn't been able to really hurt Byrd. Now, if he hits him clean like that, then he just doesn't punch hard enough.
You see how Byrd keeping that head moving? It's hard for a guy to hit a steel target like that. These big punches will not even take a chance at punching at your head if you move it that much.
Well, which is why Eddie Mustafa Muhammad told him just stick to the body, don't even bother with the head.
Yeah, but how many years has he been going to the head without Eddie Mustafa?
There you go.
Very hard to teach your old dog new tricks.
There you go. 1 one of the constant conundrums of the sport. It's about habits and reflexes, and most fighters only know one way to fight. The guys who can actually adjust and change and find another way to do it during a fight usually wear a championship belt.
I think Byrd's going for the home run right now.
Hard right hand by Thunder, hard right hand by Byrd. Blood beginning to trickle again just above the left eye of Jimmy Thunder.
Thunder's very tired.
Byrd is not.
Not at all. He's not throwing big punches.
Byrd grinning as he lands the jab over and over. Pop.
Because he knows he has Jimmy to where he can hit him at will. He can hit Jimmy just about any time he gets ready to. Hit anything he wants to hit him with.
Harold Letterman, how'd you have it halfway through?
Jim, 6-0, 60-53, Chris Byrd. He gets an extra point in round one, and certainly he won the rest of the rounds 10-9. Jim, I got to talk to you about the scoring area. When Jimmy Thunder hits Chris Byrd, he hits him on the elbows and the forearms. That doesn't count as a clean, effective punch. You got to hit a guy from the top of his head to his belly button on his body, between his sides. If he blocks it, if Chris Byrd blocks the punch with his elbows or his forearms, you give Byrd credit for good defense. It doesn't count as a clean, effective punch if it hits him on the elbows, and that's what Byrd's doing, picking up the punches with forearms and elbows.
Eddie Mustafa Muhammad wants him to go ahead and hit him on the elbows and the arms and the back of the shoulder anyway, because he hopes that will wear Byrd down as the fight goes on.
But Jim, we got to remember, it's not really in the scoring area. A judge shouldn't count the punches as landing.
We're not talking about counting it as a punch, Hal. We're talking about breaking the guy down physically if you can that way.
Heated discussion here.
Push off, Chris.
It's a small enough arena that we can hear Eddie Mustafa Muhammad all the way across the ring as he tries to get Thunder to keep moving forward. You heard him between rounds saying, look, you're hitting the guy, but then you're backing up. And there's the reason.
Because the guy's hitting him back.
Easily.
Whoa, good try.
Good left shot by Chris Byrd. Little backhand right by Byrd.
As much as you admire the skill and the nerve of somebody like Byrd for getting in with big, strong heavyweights, I can assure you that this performance will have many of the managers of heavyweights wishing that Byrd were strangled at birth.
That's right. Because they don't want to see a guy like this.
Nobody's going to want to fight him, that's for sure. Oh, hard right hand shot by Thunder, got through the guard.
Very good, very good. That is a slightly more better round, James. You're starting to move your hands. Don't wait to the bell or the 10-second bell. You better go up. Let your hands go. You're not punching, James. You're not punching. This kid is abusing you because you're not doing anything. That's the bottom line.
Come on, man. I know, baby. It's fine. That's the inside.
You're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. You hear what I'm saying?
Get the water out of the way.
Get the water. Okay. Okay, now this is
Everything in the Byrd corner.
Very good. Okay, let's go to work in there this round, okay? This has brought into the
8th round.
8th round.
He's working on that eye. Yeah, round.
All
My corner.
How many boxers have you ever seen with their mother in the corner as a chief second?
Ooh, not many. Not many at all.
Maybe the first. I think it's a first for me. You ever seen that, Larry?
Nope.
Rose Byrd, mother of Chris Byrd, is one of the corner people.
He said the whole family can box. I wouldn't be surprised if the dog is a boxer.
This is a bird that darts through the thunder.
No, good, thanks.
Jimmy Thunder seems to have the attitude of a beaten fighter right now. I think he's just going to try to see can he find anything. And if he can, he'll try to score a knockout.
Push off, Chrissy, push off.
If not, then he knows he can't win a decision at this point.
Right. He's kind of going through the motions and hoping to land one big shot.
Watch your heads coming in, fellas. Watch your head now.
That makes the fight less entertaining because, of course, the easier it gets for Chris Byrd, the fewer chances he's going to take.
A lot of people say that don't like to see people that don't take chances, but when you taught to box by your father, this is what he teaches you. I was taught not to take chances my entire career, and he's right because you can last longer this way. But your father cares about you more than anyone else. He's not going to send you out there to take a beat and get you all banged and bruised up. He wants you to go in and come out as safe and healthy as you possibly can. That's why he fights this way.
Yeah, but Chris Byrd told us that everybody else in his family was a puncher.
Well,
maybe that's why they weren't as successful as him.
That's why Chris Byrd is still going. And everybody can't take that notion and be that way.
Well, the real pros like yourself, and Sugar Ray Leonard used to say it to us all the time, a win is a win is a win. But, of course, you have a built-in marketing power that makes it easy for you to go ahead and post wins and maintain your status in the sport. Some fighters have to entertain.
Have to entertain. People want to see entertainment. They want to see something different.
So it'll be interesting to see how Byrd deals with that particular conundrum as he continues on up through the heavyweight ranks.
But one thing that's entertaining is to see him beat up on these bigger guys like this. I think the crowd loves to see things like this.
Well, this has not been unentertaining, and I feel a little bad for having started the telecast by suggesting that a lot of people think he's unwatchable. But on the other hand, you can see what it is that the general boxing fan, the non-purist, might find a little annoying about it. The good part of this for Byrd is that it's so easy for him to land punches. Has been exceedingly well treated by Al Gavin, one of the outstanding cut men in the sport.
There ain't no milk of human kindness in the ring, even from Mama. Harold, after 8 rounds, how do you score it?
Larry, I still got it a shutout. 8-0, 80-71, Chris Byrd. He's just jabbing him to death with that right hand, coming across with the straight left. Jim, the only thing that drives the judges nuts about Chris Byrd is when he lays on the ropes, when one judge is looking at somebody's back, which makes it hard to see the punches. Other than that, the guy's terrific.
Blood trickles from the nose of Thunder, and Thunder looks to be all done in. He's just too tired, Roy. He's not going to be able to go much further. And Byrd senses the opportunity and steps in and fires away. How long will Steve Smoger allow Thunder to take this kind of punishment? No longer.
Well, you can't say the folks here weren't entertained.
No. That was a rousing performance by Chris Byrd.
Very entertaining.
To the young man from Flint, Michigan. First they said he couldn't be a heavyweight, then they said he couldn't succeed with this style. Well, look at him now. He's 23-0 with a knockout victory on Boxing After Dark.
107. 107, people.
All right. You know where you are? Where are you?
Roy Jones, let's take another look at the end of the fight and talk about the precision work in finishing that Chris Byrd did.
Well, right there, he had Jimmy hurt. He knew Jimmy was in trouble. He could hit Jimmy at will. He knew Jimmy was ready to give at any time. He did a wise thing by going to the body and coming back to the head. This kept Jimmy in trouble, wouldn't let Jimmy get off. There again, he moves his head. Then he comes back and he knows Jimmy is done. So he just kept the heat on. Does another body shot. See, Jimmy is not going to punch back when he's getting caught with these kind of punches.
Well, for a guy whom I labeled a non-puncher, he certainly showed you how to finish. There's technique involved in that, and Byrd used all of his masterful technique to put Thunder away. Another look at the finishing work of Chris Byrd on Jimmy Thunder. 23rd victory, 13th knockout. I don't know. Would you say he's adding more power to his game, or was it just because of the circumstances here?
No, I think he's adding more power to his game. He already possessed the power. It's just that he knows when it's time to use the power and when it's not.
And referee ring announcer Ed Darian with the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Foxwoods Casino Resort here in Mashantucket, Connecticut, Double S referee Steve Smoger moves in and stops this bout at 1 minute and 7 seconds of the 9th round, and the winner by a TKO and still undefeated, Chris Byrd. Now let's have a nice round of applause for Jimmy Thunder. Let's hear it for him.
Chris Byrd did tell us before the fight that he wasn't going to just try to peck his opponent to death, that if he had him in... He said that if he had his opponent in trouble, he would, unlike the past, try to get him out of there. And he did. Here's a look at the final punch stat numbers, and as you can see, Byrd and Thunder threw roughly the same amount of punches. Byrd landed twice as often as Thunder. Take a look at the jabs, and there the discrepancy is even more marked. It's almost grotesque how many more jabs Byrd landed than Thunder did. All right, Jim, what you got?
All right, thanks very much, Larry Merchant. And upstairs now with Roy Jones. Roy, one final comment about Chris Byrd. Because of the style, the fact that he's a southpaw, it would appear that he's going to have to generate public interest. He's going to have to get fans excited to get himself into a position where he can demand a title shot. After seeing this, I don't rule that possibility out.
I don't rule out either. I think Chris is excellent for the heavyweight division. He's a boxer puncher, somewhat like Muhammad Ali was. He's quick. He has the hand speed. They can't hit him. That's what's best, and that's what's most effective about Chris. None of the big guys can hit him because they all want to try to kill him when they see him. He's small. They want to hit his head because he shows it to him so much. He gets them thinking one thing while he's doing the other, and he's going to constantly win like this.
Do here tonight to make himself attractive in that regard to either Holyfield or Lewis?
Well, it probably is a good idea for him to win.
Probably.
Even in this game that's not like other games, winning is usually a good idea. Another good idea for Witherspoon would be to look vulnerable, perhaps to get himself knocked down by a punch that doesn't look too impressive, perhaps to have a puffed eye or a cut eye. That would make him an attractive opponent to all of those fighters who are trying to avoid him. The irony in all of this is that at nearly 40 years of age, he probably is ready to be taken by somebody. Perhaps that somebody is Larry Donald.
Well, we'll see, although most people who saw Larry Donald in his last appearance here on HBO would argue the opposite. That was the pivotal event in Donald's professional boxing career, and it was not a good one. It started a few days before Donald's meeting with Riddick Bowe at a press conference at the Forum in Los Angeles when Bowe decided that a little intimidation might serve him well against Donald. For reasons that Bowe later apologized for, he hit Donald at the press conference with the right and the left. Larry Donald came back with nothing, and then on the evening of the fight was virtually non-existent as he held and ran for 12 rounds and generally tried simply to stay away from Bowe, put up little in the way of competition, and made himself in the end an easy victim for Riddick Bowe. Roy Jones, even Larry Donald's present handlers admit that it was totally destructive to his confidence to go through what he went through against Riddick Bowe. Is that the kind of stain that darkens his entire career, or can he come back from it?
Well, it does darken your career. He could possibly make a comeback. But when a guy catches you like that and you don't come back right away, it makes the other guy think, well, gosh, if he hit him like that and he didn't do anything, then he doesn't have any heart. I can beat him. The thing tonight, though, would be, can Tim Witherspoon be young enough to chase Larry and keep up with Larry and catch Larry? We don't know if Larry has gotten over that stain yet. We hope he has. But tonight, we'll be looking more at Tim Witherspoon, because I think that Tim Witherspoon will dictate the outcome of this fight.
39-year-old Tim Witherspoon, 2 weeks away from his 40th birthday, forced to chase the considerably more mobile Larry Donald around the ring. That's the fight we are expecting to see. Tail of the tape between Witherspoon and Donald, and there's that number, 39 for Witherspoon. Larry Donald